Welcome. My name is Monica Postel, and this is part 2 of our quick impact series called 5 Keys to Implementing a Successful Customer Service Strategy. In part 1 of our series, I touched on the importance of knowing the why, the purpose, the belief, the intent behind your customer service strategy, so you can inspire and lead your team to go after the dream of what customer service could be at your company. In this webcast, I'm going to introduce the next key to ensuring your strategy takes hold and flourishes. This key is composed of 2 of the most powerful action verbs in the English language, empower and enable. Let's begin with the empowerment piece. Empower is one of those very popular buzzwords that you see in business literature and hear about at conferences all the time. The trouble is, it's rarely put into practice, at least not to any significant degree. Empowering your staff means giving them some authority, some degree of ownership over their jobs and their work lives. Empowering your workforce can increase their motivation, their self-discipline, their ability to learn from their mistakes, and it also shows that you're willing to trust them, at least until they give you reason not to. Most importantly, empowering employees allows them to feel that they are responsible for their own success. Of course, the degree to which you empower your team will depend upon a lot of different factors. Some organizations allow a lot of autonomy. Others are strictly regulated, with good reason. In either case, as a manager, you can take a look at where you can take some of the acceptable risks. Looking doesn't mean that you have to do it. Think about it. Talk to your people. Speaking of talking to your people, another way to empower your team is to ask reps how they would ideally do something. For example, solve a problem. And if you like it, encourage them to do it. Here's another idea. You'll, of course, have to look and see what's doable, but consider this. Give your team the responsibility for making certain customer service decisions that affect customer service experience or their relationship with their customers. For example, I was just reading, the Ritz-Carlton was mentioned in a recent Booz Allen study as a company that delegates local decisions right down to the face-to-face people in the hotels. Frontline employees have great latitude for addressing and anticipating customer needs. Hotel staffs own the customer complaints and have the authority, within corporate guidelines, of course, to compensate guests on the spot for any problem or inconvenience. Now, in your own organization, what can you do to let employees have more control of their jobs? Can you make it possible for them to make decisions and not have to check with a higher authority on everything? Or can you let them get together and work out solutions to challenges and how to improve the workflow process, perhaps? Yes, ceding responsibility can be uncomfortable. Risk is scary, but the results and the rewards of trusting your team are huge. Your customers will be surprised and delighted, and your employees will feel great about the job that they're doing and what they can do for their customers. Another thing you can do as a manager or supervisor is share the wealth. Now, presumably, your knowledge and experience has something to do with getting you where you are today. So take the time to teach your team members what you know. I know your time is valuable. I know you have a lot on your plate. But come on, who in your organization has more to gain than having a well-trained team than you? It doesn't have to be in the classroom. Sometimes you can share an anecdotal experience. Sometimes you can explain what you do in a given situation. Sometimes you can guide what the rep does through feedback. And sometimes it'll work best to demonstrate how to do something. What's important is the knowledge transfer. The other half of this key element is enable. A team with a great attitude can still be hobbled in their efforts to deliver great customer service by things like the company's interactive voice response unit. IVRs can help boost productivity and streamline getting callers to the right place, but if the IVR is poorly designed, in other words, has too many branches and too many hoops to jump through, it actually makes the rep's job a lot harder. The poor rep hasn't had a chance to say hello, and the customer's experience is already in the dumpster. So part of enabling your team is to make sure that your company IVR helps both your company and your customer. Make sure as well that your computer telephony integration really is integrated. Is the information being pulled from the appropriate database and presented to the rep taking the call? If you can't integrate legacy systems seamlessly, and I know that it's an expensive endeavor, at least make sure that your reps know how to toggle between those legacy systems efficiently. Does your customer relationship management software help the rep, or does it slow things down because people aren't using it consistently or correctly? Is the information that the reps capture really needed, and are they capturing what they do need? And is there a reliable way for reps to get the information they need quickly? Now, to this point, I recently heard a presentation about a call center startup, and I thought that they handled the whole knowledge management issue really well. As I said, they were a startup. They knew they weren't going to have all the answers they needed on file when they went live. So reps were asked to write up the questions and answers and document the solutions as they went along. The idea was, if I don't know it, somebody else probably isn't going to know this either. As a result of this responsibility, the floor built a tremendous sense of pride and ownership about the information and how well they were able to help each other and callers. So the second key to ensuring your customer service strategy doesn't end up being reduced to a distant memory and a bunch of really cool posters in the cafeteria is to empower and enable your team. Empower your employees. Let them bring the strategy to life. Give them the authority to make decisions to help customers. Let them act to carry out the intent of your strategy. And be sure, while you're at it, to enable them. Make sure that your systems support their efforts and their intentions. So here are some questions to think about related to empower and enable. What are the risks you'd associate with giving your team more decision responsibility? What are some of the decisions that are too risky to let your team make? Are they really? What would it mean to vastly improve customer experience if your team was able to make decisions on their own and take care of things right away? What could be done to reduce the risk? And what's the state of your team's tools and systems support? Customer experience executives across the country are weighing this question. Are you really doing everything you can to make business with you as easy as possible for your customers and your employees? So on a scale from 1 to 10, how well do you enable your team to do a great job for your customer? In part 3 of our 5-part series, I'll talk about what proper training means and the make or break impact that providing training can have on the ongoing success of your strategy. Thanks for joining me today. If you have any questions or comments about today's webcast or would like more information about how to create a sustainable customer service strategy, please call us at 1-800-545-9003